Hello, everyone. It's Whitney, and I want to welcome you to Ladies Takeover Empowerment Podcast, where we're all about helping you to succeed and become the very best version of yourself. And on tonight, it's season 6, and it is our 5th episode talking about love and health. This is our live relationship edition, and I am so excited to have our special guest on tonight. So please help me welcome my good friends and my family, none other than Smokey and Tammy Frazier. How are you guys?
Hi.
Hello, I'm Smokey.
And I'm Tammy.
Yes, do your intro. Do it. I love it. So everyone that's watching may not know, we're here to help everyone. We've been doing this series on relationships, but you guys have your own podcast.
Yes.
So tell everyone about your podcast, and then tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been married, all that good stuff.
Okay. So we have a podcast based on blended families.
Awesome.
And how we made it work, and we were hoping that we could help other blended families, put the puzzle pieces together.
That's beautiful.
We've been married 13 years.
Really?
Going on 39. Something like that. Something like
Feel
that.
like that.
Right. We are high school sweethearts. And once he graduated high school, he joined the Navy, saw the world. When I got out of high school, I guess a couple of years later, he got out of the military, but he ended up marrying somebody. I ended up marrying somebody. So we were apart a total of 19 years.
Wow.
And then one day he slid in my DMs.
This is a going theme. And people who are watching my podcast, this DMs is a little serious.
Well, he didn't slide in. Well, technically, he didn't slide in mine.
Oh, okay.
He sent a message to my sister. My sister sent it to me.
Okay.
And I really slid in his. So,
excuse me. Okay.
And March 12th, 2009.
Why do you remember this date? Is when you slid into his DM.
So so after that, that's the date we got married, because that's the date we got back together.
Oh, that's special.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how many children do you guys have together?
14.
Feels like
What?
it. 5.
No.
I was going to say, you know what? I forgot who I have.
Right.
Lord Jesus, help me.
So we have 5. We're
Okay.
a party of 7. So
Okay.
our website, our Instagram, everywhere you can find us is 2X around 7. So that's our second time around,
That's
and we're
cute.
a party of 7.
That's
so
cute.
that's how we came up with that.
I love that.
5 kids, all but 1 are adults, and 3 grandchildren.
Awesome. Very, very nice. Anything you want to add, Smokey?
No, that's pretty much it. Except she was robbing the cradle, but we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that there.
See, what's your rebuttal to that?
I think we can tell who's older. I'm just saying. We can tell.
That is funny. So, you guys said that you met in high school. What high school did you guys go to?
Largo High School.
Awesome. And you guys are from this area then?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, great. So tell us, this is your second time around. So tell us how important communication is for you this time around. What did you guys want to do differently this time that you did not do the first time?
That is a great question, and the reason that it's a great question because whether it's your first marriage, your second, or your third, whatever, communication plays a vital role, and it's the verbal and the nonverbal
Yes.
that seems to throw people off. I'm gonna toss it right back to you, but there's sometimes when I'm not feeling my best, and she can know that, and she can look at me and say, "Hey, your face is slotted. You know what's going on." So I think that's an important thing, part of communication that I've learned that I needed in this relationship to make it work.
That's great. That's great, Tammy.
I think that just going back to what we did before the first time around, we communicated very well. We communicated very well.
Okay.
And once he joined the military, all communication was cut off.
Okay.
He says he communicated with me, but I never received any of that communication. And so I don't know what happened to it. I believe him. believe him.
I don't.
I believe him, but I just never got any of that. And I think just probably given our whole situation.
Yeah.
But right now, I notice, well, I mean, I don't notice because that was 40 years ago. But he's right. I have to read his nonverbal cues to understand what's going on with him, no matter how much I try to talk to him. I asked him today, so tell me, how are you feeling? And he's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Okay, well, let me read the room. Read the room today, and I just kind of let him be to do whatever he needed to do to get himself together. And I can tell when he's not having a good day.
Yeah.
But I think with him having a degree in counseling, I think that's helped with his communication. He knows all the questions to ask. When it comes to asking him the questions,
About asking him.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
And to that degree, it's the same with the nurse. Nurses make the worst patients. So,
yeah, they do say that. They do. Yeah, and I think it's because you think that you know best, so you don't want anybody else telling you what it is. But to Tammy's point, it's not just that you have a degree, but is it because you are closed off from your emotions that you don't want to communicate what's going on, or what do you think the real reason is that you aren't as open to communication?
That is a great question, and the reason that it's a great question is because the military has taught me how to compartmentalize my feelings.
Right.
So
Yes.
I'm able to, sometimes to my demerit, I'm able to compartmentalize anger. I'm able to compartmentalize fear. I'm able to compartmentalize love. Compartmentalize sex. So
it all has its own space, and it's not all together. It doesn't all mean the same thing. I completely understand. Right. Yeah, I get it. So with that being said, then what does that mean for you? So you said that you're able to read and understand, but how important is it for you to actually get communication, or do you just go off of nonverbal communication?
I generalize.
Okay.
Based on what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. I generalize his response so that I know which way to go.
Okay.
It's a challenge, and I'll just keep asking until I get to my answer if I can't figure it out.
Got you. So tell everyone what it is that you do, because that probably plays a big role in how you're able to ask those questions.
So right now I'm a school nurse, high school nurse. Favorite job in the whole wide world. It really
That's
truly
cool.
is. I left a leadership role and went back into the school system, and I think I used to be a high school nurse before years ago.
Okay.
And that helped me be an open communicator with the children, so that like when we got back together, I worked at a HIV clinic, primary care, and high school, and just being exposed to all the different things that were going on, I had no problem communicating with my children.
That's great.
How to protect themselves, what to do, what not to do. So when we got together, sharing that same information, it was like, wait, whoa, he was censoring me. And I'm like, no, we need to talk about this. And so he loosened up.
That's good.
He loosened up,
That's
and he
good.
understood the importance. So I just wanted to keep everybody safe, healthy, and happy.
Yeah.
So we work that out now, and I can still do that. Still have an impact on the youth now in high school. I'm a high school. I don't want little people. High school. I want them on their verge to adulthood.
Right. She does the bigs. I do the littles.
So what is your occupation?
So I'm a community school coordinator. So basically, what I do is I facilitate everything that's happening between the community, the families, and the school.
Nice.
So I'm the go-between. So if a parent comes in and they don't have access to resource, but they don't want to go to social services,
Gotcha.
I can provide some access to businesses and friends that can get them what they need.
Nice.
Or conversely, if there's something that a school needs, like materials, sports equipment. I can work my partners, and we can get refrigerators, or we can get appliances. We can get
Nice.
sports equipment for
Nice.
those underprivileged and marginalized individuals.
Nice, nice. So, as you mentioned about talking with your children, what did that look like between the two of you, getting him to be more open? How did that look? What was that process like for you?
I would equate it to pulling teeth. I think that's a great analogy, because compartmentalizing to me was, as I look hindsight, was sometimes just shutting down.
Okay.
No, why? Because I said so.
Ah.
And then you have to go beyond the because I said so to realize that you're talking to another adult.
Yes.
And if you're talking to another adult, then you should probably
Explain yourself.
just a little bit.
Just a little
And
bit.
you know what, the youth these days, they want to know why.
Yes.
Why not tell them why?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not tell them, if you do this, this could happen.
Yes.
Or this will happen.
Yes.
So I didn't have a problem explaining it. And I think just the middle one, the middle child, I think is the main reason. Because the oldest didn't really ask why. But that middle child,
It's not just that, but they have so much information to their
yes.
access and disposal that if you don't tell them and explain it the way that you want them to know, they're going to find
they're
out.
going to find out.
They're going to their friends. Somebody going to tell them.
And then they'll affix that knowledge
Yes.
to the truth.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I couldn't imagine. My children are there. I try to have those conversations, but it don't happen with my children. So I don't get the liberty of having those discussions with them. I know that their father does. When I try to, it's kind of like, oh, mommy, I don't want to talk about it. So did you force your children to talk about it? Like, what did you do? You're just laughing. I am very serious.
I think what I did mainly, just putting it out there. Okay,
We're talking about love and health. This is important.
we're talking about teenagers.
Yeah.
It was,
Right now?
instead of a bowl of candy on the kitchen counter, it was a bowl of condoms.
Okay. Okay.
If you're gonna do it, be safe about
Okay.
it. I would show pictures when I worked at the HIV clinic. Oh my goodness! Or I would share. Oh wow! I had this 20-year-old come in today,
Okay.
and they tested positive, and this
Okay.
is what I had to do.
Okay.
Or
And then they live with it for life,
right.
because their parents did not tell them
Gotcha.
to put it in a condom. Make
Gotcha.
sure he or she have a condom. on,
Gotcha.
So, and I think that's a great point for church people as well. Our preaching is abstinence, absolutely
Yeah.
abstinence
Yeah.
until you get married. But the fact of the matter is,
Yes.
Everybody's
not
not talking about that.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Because I know what we did.
Wait, what do you do?
I know what
What
we
did we
did when
do?
we were in high school, and I wanted to avoid that.
Yeah.
And so, I
Yeah.
just, it took some teeth pulling.
Yeah,
yes, but
I understand.
he jumped on board, and I think that helped
Yeah.
even develop my relationship with his children. So,
That's wonderful. That's great. So when it comes to other things that you guys do, what is your degree in? Your background is in counseling? Is that what you said?
Clinical mental health counseling.
Okay, clinical mental health counseling, which is, by the way, phenomenal.
Thank you.
So how do you guys handle health challenges that may come? Because I know that everyone, you take a vow for in sickness and health. You take a vow for richer, for poorer. I don't know if everyone takes into consideration when they're taking those vows, mental health could be an issue. So with your background, how do you handle that? Because do you feel like when you guys have conflicts that he's using the things that he has learned against you? Like, listen, don't psychoanalyze me. Like, I just want the Smokey that I married. You know what I mean? So how do you guys handle your conflicts?
I know he uses his tools.
Oh, okay.
And I did call him out on it one time. But honestly, I think we handle our conflict the same way as we always have. Just take a time out. We cook. I like to cook with. Well, I'm sorry. I'm done cooking. We cook.
I'm done cooking.
I'm done cooking. We cook, and so if I need to have a conversation with him, let's go in the kitchen. We'll talk, and we're heard. I think when we're doing that, we're in a good space.
Okay. With knives and
Yeah.
and utensils, you're in a good space.
I'll mise en place. He'll work slow.
Yeah.
But
so you want to talk,
Right.
Okay.
With pots and pans and hot grease.
Right.
But one thing
that's
he's
good,
always
though.
said, he was like, you can tell me anything.
That's good.
You know, you can tell me anything. And so if I need to have that difficult conversation, I'm like, remember you said I could tell you anything, right? Okay, then that means let me stop what I'm doing. Let me hear you out so I know I have his undivided.
Okay.
I don't know, you feel like you could tell me? No, he don't tell me anything.
That's a lie.
Okay.
That.
It takes time.
Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking about
Yeah.
last night or the night before when you asked me.
Uh-oh.
She was like, look at this. But that took time, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. Put it there.
You ain't got to.
It's love and health. So,
Yes, it is.
So there's parts of my body. All right. So just recently, I had a medical
Situation
that happened that made me do some reflecting on some things that I can't take care of myself as good or as well as I thought I could. And there's some parts of me that I can't see. I'm a fat boy now. I get it. I'm older. I get it. I'm not able to bend over and play basketball. I get it. So I needed my helpmate to help me.
Yeah.
And if God put her there to help me, then I needed her to look at some places that I couldn't see and tell me if it's okay or if we need to put a salve on it or if, what we need to do to make it better. Did I do that cleanly?
You did very well.
Yeah, but you're right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right, and that's what you're there for. Who else you want to do?
Well, I know who to hire if I need somebody. My background is home care.
Well, yeah,
because
okay.
For real.
Yeah, but she already told me that if it's a poopy situation,
you're not going there. Okay.
We calling in the reserves.
Okay, so you have your limits on health things that you would do. Really? Okay.
Yes,
so,
I know what I can handle.
Okay, I get you. I understand. I found myself in situations because I think that love and health goes beyond just your spouse. We have family members that we may have to be in situations where we have to take care of. I know that I had to take care of my father. Because he could not take care of himself, and our family decided that we didn't want a home health aide or anyone to come in and take care of him. We wanted to do it ourselves. So I found myself in situations where I had to take care of him, and I was like, I never would have imagined.
Exactly.
Never would have imagined. I remember going to see my godmother, and I literally was like, oh my God, but I'm doing it. And I'm like, her feet are like thick with all of this like crust. And she's asking me, can I rub lotion on her feet?
Right.
And I'm like,
with some gloves.
See that?
Yes.
No, I can't. I can't do it.
And I'm doing it. And I
gloves.
was doing it. And I was just like, I really love this woman because I can't believe that I am rubbing her feet. And I didn't have gloves on. It didn't even dawn on me to ask for gloves. I don't know. I should have. But I did it. And I did it because I loved her. And I don't think that it has ever dawned on me like a part of what my limit would be if I really love someone. But I think what you're saying is that it's okay to have a limit of what it is that you would or would not do because it doesn't mean that you don't love anybody.
Well, when he got sick last weekend, I was going to go and clean up.
Okay.
And he said no.
Wow.
No, don't even come in here.
Really?
And I mean, we literally just had the EMTs at the house.
Really?
And I'm like, are you serious? Are you sure? I got a bucket. I can get the mop. I can do this.
Wow.
No. And he cleaned.
Wow.
And so he knows what I can have.
Yeah, there's some people who have gag reflexes, and so even though they're not sick, they will vomit themselves as soon as they see it. I know a couple of people actually. No, I have been there and seen it.
I put my mask on immediately. And I was there.
Right.
I was there for you. I was there for you.
And that's a great point, because support comes in many different ways, and actually that verbal support, even going back to verbal and nonverbal, that having that verbal cue, hey, I got you, you good, and I already know that if I'm blowing chunks, you gonna blow chunks too.
Yeah.
So just stay over there.
One is enough.
Right. We can't have both of us dehydrated.
And it's really important because I remember it wasn't Joshua wasn't here yet. Christian was still here, but Christian was young. We hadn't even been married a year yet. I got pregnant on my honeymoon, so it had to be within our first year or two, I guess maybe our second year, that the first time I ever had a seizure. And I was in the hospital. And I didn't know what it was. I was singing somewhere. My father was preaching. He asked me to come and sing a solo. I started singing the solo, and all of a sudden, like, I finished and I stepped off the stage and like fell on the ground. And they rushed me to the hospital, and then they kept me. And while I was there, that was the first time that it happened, and then it started happening like more and more frequently, and we didn't know why. No one understood. And I think that it was frustrating for my husband because I was young, and he's trying to figure out, like, I didn't marry nobody that was sick. I don't even know if he could comprehend, because what was happening is that it was leaving him to take care of our young baby, and I couldn't get myself together enough because when you have a seizure, your body, like my whole left side of my body would go numb. It took me like 2 weeks almost to like get back fully functioning to be able to do things. And I don't think we ever really had a conversation about my health. We just kind of molded over and just would act like it wasn't there. And that's not healthy for anybody.
I was about to say, that sounds like what happened. So I had what's it called? Bell's
palsy.
I had Bell's palsy. Yeah. So what Bell's palsy is, with mine's, one side of my face would just droop down. Paralyzed. So even after this current seizure, that was some of the tremors that she noticed, that my face was swollen, but then this side was still droopy.
We were on a FaceTime call with a friend, and it was funny because both of us said,
at almost the same
Smokey,
time.
You see that?
Really?
Don, you see that? You know?
Really?
And
yeah. And it's crazy because, like, what ends up happening is when you don't acknowledge it, like, people both sides start having resentment. You get frustrated, and I think that the unsaid response was like this big elephant in the room is that, like, that's not who I married. You tricked me. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want any of this. And he said it on the on the podcast on the first episode. He was like, you tricked me. I didn't do it intentionally. It's not I was just asking to be sick, but there was a lot of things that happened quickly on and early on in our marriage. And so what advice could you give people with dealing with health issues, or how to handle when health issues come up in your marriages?
I actually include him. I found that I'm more adherent to my medication plan at night. And so I would never see him taking anything. And so I started mixing in his medicine. And now I'll toss him the bag, because everybody has their medicine in the bag. It's home care. That's what they do. They just put it in a shopping bag somewhere. And so I kept ours in a bag. I tossed him the bag, and I waited.
Really?
And so it made him pull out the medications. He needs to know what he's taking and why.
Right.
He needs to know what I'm taking and why, because if anything happens, we have to be able to speak for each
You're
other.
absolutely right.
So I include him in it. He would come to all of my appointments. What appointment he making but a physical, So I'm like, FaceTime me when you're at the doctor. Unless I'm taking him, FaceTime me when you're at the doctor. And that's what we did. And right now, I'm there with him right now at all the appointments. Granted,
I have no choice.
Yeah, but I just started this job.
I'm not able to.
Yeah, but I mean, we got people that can take you to your appointments, but I'm not having that. I need to be able to know what's going on. And so, with a little bit of leave I do have accrued, I'm nickel and diming, so I can get him to where
it's
he needs
really,
to
really
be.
important.
It is.
Really important. There's been times when I could see you, but I couldn't talk. And if they're asking, like, what medicine did she take? What does she have? There's been times when I had strangers around me that no one could speak on my behalf because no one knew what I took. My blood sugar was so low, they thought that I took insulin, and I was not on insulin. I don't take insulin, but I could hear them saying these things, and I'm like, I wish I could. I'm like trying to talk and I can't say anything, and it's because like people were telling me you need to get a band, a bracelet, and because I'm stubborn, I'm like, I'm too cute to be walking around with some medical band on talking about that. That I have health seizures or whatever. I was like,
they have cute ones. I used to wear one.
I'm not wearing that. So
I got my man now.
I was
I don't wear it,
I was like, they better get hip to this iPhone and know how to press on my health thing on my iPhone.
No, but that's good. And to your point earlier, you said, what advice would I give to couples? That's one of the advices that I would give. Because if you don't know what medication they're taking or what they're allergic to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in the situation, it's too late to figure out, it's in my phone. Oh, my phone dead.
Yep, it is too late. And I've been married to my husband. We're going on umpteen years. How many years have we been married? 18 years, almost 18 years. And in October it'll be 18. And just a few months ago, I realized that he was allergic to like penicillin. And I was like, how come I didn't know you were allergic to penicillin? And he told me, no, you did not tell me. I was like, what? That is very important.
Right.
Because that is one of the first things that they'll give you when you have like an infection.
Yep.
So that is absolutely true. Those are huge things that I don't know if anybody thinks about, because almost without a shadow of a doubt, somebody's going to get sick.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to get sick. These bodies are not forever. So it's important to know how to handle it. It's also important, in my opinion, not to make someone feel bad when they get sick, because it's out of their control. There's nothing that you can do about it when they are sick. So what advice would you give to a person, for instance, you said that they don't have you don't have leave. How would you go about helping someone whose spouse needs assistance, but you don't have leave to personally do it yourself? So what would you do?
Well, we both have family in the area, and so instead of calling on the same person every time, I would just kind of ask and rotate around and see who can, who's available. Otherwise, we make the appointments as late as possible so that I can still be there.
But I'm talking about specifically taking care of them. So let's say he had a surgery or something.
I know.
Do you feel bad? Do you feel bad if she can't be there?
Absolutely.
Do you make her feel bad? Do
No,
you feel bad?
He doesn't make me feel bad. No,
You just feel
I
bad.
just feel bad if I can't be there to take care of him. That would bother me. That would bother me. So if it's something that we can plan so that we there. Cool. Otherwise, to heck with it. I'm there. I mean, it's another nurse in that building, and they didn't have a nurse before. They will figure it out.
I know that's right.
I got one of him.
And I think, that's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not sweating that.
I think it's not that I'll make her feel bad, but she wants to take care of me, and that's a beautiful thing. That's when I know that I'm loved.
Yeah.
When you're willing to go above and beyond.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's above and beyond. I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do.
I know that's right.
You better preach.
Because if I don't,
Who will?
I dare somebody.
Oh, we're so okay.
Listen, let me tell you.
I dare somebody.
There's some people that might try. You know what I mean?
Yes,
They're not gonna have a try.
There's some people that will try, honey. Let me tell you. So, but I don't want to get off on that. So
Right.
Yeah.
But, because I've had people try to tell me what my husband like. I'm like, I didn't ask you. I know what my husband like. I know exactly what he needs, and it is not you.
Not you.
But so let's talk about this. You talked about having a blended family.
Yes.
You talked about how you guys call them. What is it? How do you refer to them? You're 7, and what do you?
We're a party of 7, so it's 2x around 7.
2x around 7. Yeah, so you're a party of 7. So what advice could you give to people that have blended families that are having difficulty with blending their family?
It takes time.
Okay.
It takes time, but I really think social media helped because
Really?
our children clicked. They did. They clicked so quickly. And I think from the outside, people thought we were forcing it, but we weren't.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, our kids came up with it. This is when I knew them jokers belonged together. So, in any house, most houses, you'll have a sofa. Our kids made a game out of the sofa.
Really?
Yeah, it's called sofa ball. Oh my goodness! They would take the a ball and they would run around like it was football and jump on each other and hit the sofa.
What?
And man, they would tear up that wall. To this day, they still say sofa ball.
Yeah.
And they would laugh.
Really?
I mean, they could be in a bad mood and say sofa ball and they'll laugh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you think that social media was a big part of that?
I think so because they got to know each other on their own.
Okay.
So we didn't have to force it,
Really?
but we made sure that we all supported each other's activities.
Okay.
If one person had something, we all went.
Okay.
Football, lacrosse, ROTC, volleyball, softball, baseball. Even today.
Anything. Right.
Even today.
I heard you say this, and I want to bring this before we kind of close out, but I want for you to help some people because I think I've heard you talk about this before about disciplining
Oh, wow.
having to step in and discipline. How do you handle that when you're disciplining? I know you don't necessarily refer to them as your stepchildren, but how do you someone else, if it's not necessarily your blood child, how do you discipline them or vice versa? What do you do? How do you handle those situations?
That is a touchy situation.
Yes.
And the reason that it's a touchy situation because you're talking about taking care of somebody else's
Right.
children.
Yeah.
But while they're in your care,
Right.
there are some things that you can do and some things that you can't do. So you have to have that conversation up front. Listen,
yeah, we had to.
yeah. Listen, okay. If I hit one, I'm gonna hit the other one the same way.
Okay.
If one's not gonna be able to jump off the wall, the other one's not gonna be able to jump off the wall. So you have your standard rules and your standard guidelines. I don't know. People will get on me. Oh, that's corporal punishment. Spare the rod, spoil the child. I got beat. No, I got beat, and I'm okay.
Wow.
And
I
I'm
was
okay.
14.
Right. So there's some times when it becomes necessary
Yeah.
to be a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
And in the relationship, whether it's the male or the female, it needs to be understood that okay, this is far and this is too far. And
Yes.
this is what we're going to accept.
Right.
And this is what we're not going
Of
to
course.
accept. And if you're not able to get to that truth, then everything that comes after it, behind it, is going to seem vindictive or impartial. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
we
it does.
definitely had to have that conversation up front.
Gotcha.
And I say up front, but not until it took place.
I get
You
what
know,
you're saying.
and it was
Okay,
like,
okay.
whoa, I don't know who you think you are,
Oh, okay.
but this is not how I handle it.
Okay.
But this is how I handle it. Okay, well, then we need to come somewhere in the middle
Okay.
and handle it.
Okay.
And then, but the kids, they think we don't argue. So we never did it in front of them.
That's
but we
true.
got to that medium. And then that way, when we're in front of them, we're standing as
You're a
one with
united
one across.
front.
There you go. So
That's really good.
And that's something that I just refuse to do. I mean, I will shut down and let you argue with yourself all day, but I won't argue in front of the kids.
Okay.
That's just something that I wouldn't do. Now that's a problem. You know, now I see it as a problem
but we don't
because I
have
shut. No. But I'm
He's
just
talking about
saying
the shutting down.
right.
Oh,
for,
yeah, that's-
for my communication
Yes.
part, that is a problem.
Gotcha.
But I refuse to argue in front of the kids because I didn't want to leave that disdain, that taste in their mouth, or that level of disrespect. Oh, this is how I'm supposed to talk to them.
Right.
You know.
Right. I got you.
we actually came up with a code word. If something wasn't rubbing us the right way, then we had a code word.
That's
and
good.
It kind of redirected.
Really? That's great. That
we
is
haven't
great.
used that code word in years.
Right.
That's
doing it.
awesome.
We got it.
That's really, really good. That probably helps somebody.
Yeah.
That's great. That alone. So we're about to close, but I want to tell you guys, thank you. This was really, really good. You have helped a lot of people. So in closing, tell me if you had the chance to go back the night before you got married, and tell yourself or give yourself some advice, what would you say to yourself?
The night before.
Don't both answer at once.
Right.
I think, I think, 'cause, you know, just kicking ourselves that we waited so long. That's the thing.
Really?
Like, I wish he had came and knocked on my door. I really do, because I would have jumped at the chance to marry him so many years ago. And so I guess now to be like, don't wait, just do it. Like, oh God,
That's beautiful,
it's all his fault. Though.
Tammy.
We should have been married, but whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Practice patience. Just be patient, because I was the wilder one. He calmed me down.
Okay.
He calmed me down, I think.
Really?
I calm her down.
I'm like, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine. I know Smokey a little bit.
Right.
Really?
Right.
You
Right.
know me.
Okay, what would you say, Smokey?
I don't know.
Really?
I really don't.
Really?
What would I say to me? The day before I got married?
Knowing all that you know now, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there's things that were, like, if you could get a do-over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, if I could get a do-over?
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. So,
Right.
So,
this right here.
yeah, I mean, I love the experiences that I've had in life. Even my failures, tell you the truth, I like them because it lets me know my boundaries. It lets me know that what I can't do, and it lets me know what I won't do anymore. And I think that's what helped me appreciate her for who she is. And I mean, most people would be infuriated. How you gonna marry a doctor and you don't even have an associate's degree?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm glad you push me and you encourage me. You don't hate on me, or you don't feel threatened by the fact that I have an education, and that was an issue prior to you.
Wow.
And so I get the complete opposite, and so yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
She made me want to go back and do better. That's where we are where we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate this. This was absolutely
Thank
amazing.
you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely amazing. So again, tell everybody before we leave, how can they get to your podcast and see your podcast?
Like, follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram. Like, follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, and where else? Facebook is
Pandora.
2X Around 7
2X Around 7
with Smokey and Tammy.
I'm Smokey.
And I'm Tammy.
Wow, that was so amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed our live relationship edition of Love and Health with my wonderful friends, Smokey and Tammy Frazier. I hope to see you again next time. See you soon. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Catch up on previous episodes on any of your favorite podcast outlets.